Domain expansion. Tistinas. Summon our Crystal God opponent. You had 3 face-up cards. Big mistake. Crystal God says bow before the Crystal God, and if you do not bow, your head is removed. Boom.
2 Dark Magician Girls, 1 Cup of Ace.
Welcome to another video. Today we are pulling from the latest selection pack, but most of the cards in this pack are not actually very good. We are kind of banking on pulling Transaction Rollback, as that's kind of the only card worth pulling from this pack. Although I am curious about this card, Tokusano Shinkyojin, which lets you discard monsters from your hand whose total level is equal 10 to draw 2 cards. I think this card might actually have some sneaky utility as a filtering card in specific decks, so we'll see if I can pull some copies of it. Also, if I get lucky and pull a bunch of Tistinas, I might build a Tistina deck, although I'm pretty confident that this archetype is very bad. I would like to try it though. Red reboots, wouldn't mind pulling a red reboot. Also, I kind of like the Earthbounds. Hey, look, Earthbound, but they're actually fish. Where's the other one? This one. It's a squid. These are kind of water monsters in their own special way, so if I can build Earthbounds, I wouldn't be too sad about that. Otherwise, I would not recommend pulling from this pack at all. I think it's quite bad, and you should save your gems. So let's get pulling, see if I get scammed. Of course, we are just going for maximum URs. After, if I pull enough nonsense to do anything fun, I will play a deck. Otherwise, I got fully scammed, and we'll have sink or swims for the rest of the episode. So, I mean, you may know what happens depending on what the title of this episode is, but otherwise, we'll let it be a surprise. I definitely don't know what's going to happen. Pack number 2. If we get fully scammed by Konami, I mean, that's just tradition at this point. Got some Earthbounds. Got a Fallen of the Tistina. Tistina? You tell me how to say it. I'm going to call it Tistina because that's easier. Ooh, alright. Not scammed yet. We got our first ultra rare. It is Tistina. Looks like Konami wants me to play Tistinas. Also, look at this, because it's kind of sick. Some of the art on these is kind of sick, so maybe I do want to play Tistinas. We'll find out. Is this going to be the best Tistina deck? Is that going to be the title of this episode? You're going to have to find out. I mean, you'll already know. I'm the one who's going to have to find out. Looks like we got an Earthbound Servant Geogriffin. Very cool. But not very good. I saw some gameplay with the Earthbounds, and they seem pretty bad. They don't seem to have any like good one-card plays. They need you to draw multiple. And Tistinas, I don't know what's going on in these arts. Kind of frightening. Crystal monsters with spikes everywhere. Tistinas seem like they'll be very bricky. And also, even when they do what they're trying to do, they seem like they'd be a bit medium. But we'll see. We'll see if Tistinas are playable. I have one Tistina right now. I think I need... That was another thing. Konami made the archetype very expensive. I think it's 9 URs to build the deck the way it seems to want to be played. So we'll see if we get enough URs in Tistina to actually test it out. Transaction Rollback. This is the only card from this pack that is actually meta. You'll see this played in Labyrinth. I want to try it out in Dynamorphias as well. I think it'll be quite good. Any deck that plays a lot of traps. There's some cheese tactics that use it as well, since it gets around the activation cost of a lot of cards. It just activates it by banishing from the graveyard, so that can do some shenanigans. You can do some turn skipping on your opponent. Very rude. You let me know what fun things you can do with Transaction Rollback. I think it's a powerful card. Pack number 10. Let's see. I think we got 1 UR or 2. I've already forgotten. Did we get 1 UR or 2? We'll see how scammed. The average is 2.3. So anything above 2.3 is good. Anything below 2.3 is not good. Breath of Tistina and some Earthbounds. 2. Okay. 2 is fine. You know what? Not fully scammed. I'll accept this. Well, let's do another 10 pull. Now the real question is, how many of these 10 pulls am I going to do? Well, I want at least 3 transaction rollbacks. So if I get enough gems or I pull enough of those, then that's probably time to stop. We'll see what happens. We got a Divine Domain. Tistinas look like they're happening. Look at me pulling some prismatic Tistinas. Konami, if Konami wants me to play Tistinas, then I will do it. But I'm not going to do it in the Duelist Cup because I don't hate myself. I don't hate myself that much. I don't think the deck is good enough to compete at the grindy levels of the Duelist Cup, but maybe, you know, maybe top tier Tistinas can. Tistinas is, I think, almost entirely Aqua archetype, although none of the monsters are water, which is interesting. So it's similar to tier limits. Non-water Aqua monsters. Oh, here's the Kraken. The Kraken is here. I would like to summon this. I have no idea how you do it. Oh wait, no, there's a fusion. Yeah, there's a UR fusion card that you use. You use two monsters that you can synchro with and XZ with, or no, synchro with and fusion summon at the same time, and it does both. You get both monsters. Tistina, UR extra deck monster. That is, I'm told, actually quite bad. We'll just have to see. Now that I have it, I'm gonna have to summon it. Budget Tistinas would be fun, because I'm definitely not going to want to spend any more gems on Tistinas than I have to. I'm doing this for science, alright? I'm doing this for content. If you're out there thinking, should I build Tistinas? Unless you really love Tistinas, I'm going to tell you, please don't do it. Save yourself the gems. Red Rain. Not really interested in the Resonators archetype. Although I think of the decks that come out of this, they're like the most playable. Not strong, but playable. Alright, those Resonators. They summon themselves from the hand. I think that's what they do. Classic synchro chaining deck. Does what you'd expect. Synchro summons a bunch of times. Ends on a questionable boss monster. Probably would be better if they just ended on Baran. Ooh, Witch of the Black Forest. And another prismatic Tistina. Konami really pushing the Tistinas on me right now. I don't know if I'm feeling it, Konami. We'll see if I can build the best Tistina deck. And where are my transaction rollbacks? And where are my URs, Konami? Don't scam me today. There's another Fallen of the Tistina. We got two URs, both of them Tistina cards. Not ideal. See, this is why this is a terrible pack, alright? Unless you really want Tistinas, you're not going to be going anywhere. Alright, I don't want to do these 10 pulls too slow. I still have 5,000 gems. So let's just get pulling and get skipping and see how scammed I get. This is not promising. Oh no, I got fully scammed. I got the scam alert. Konami, this is my warning to you. Do not try and pull from this pack. This pack is clearly cursed. Alright, we got fully scammed, so we have to do another 10 pull to not get scammed even more. And we got even more scammed because this pack would have had only one UR in it. One of these is the UR we were guaranteed. So really pulled one UR. So we're really batting below average. So when you're batting below average, that means you got to win. You got to get, your odds are getting better. Let's get skipping. Oh, we got scammed again. Wow, that's really bad. We got additionally scammed. All right, so this episode might be definitely budget Tistinas because I can't afford any Tistinas today. Well, I mean, we have to do another 10 pull to compensate for our double scammage. Let's get skipping. Two more copies of the Tistina Field Spell. Alright, and the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. So we've been really scammed quite heavily today. That's what I would say. These are probably my worst pulls ever from a pack that is not even very good to begin with. So definitely not promising, not promising. I have one more pull. Let's just quickly look at the cards that I have. Alright, we have none of the Tokusano, which is what I wanted. We also have only one transaction rollback. We didn't get any of the Earthbound Fusion, so Earthbounds are kind of dead to me. Did pull 3 of this, which means I'm going to have to play Tistinas, and I have one Demigod. So my Tistinas are looking pretty solid. So hopefully Tistinas don't play this, because I don't have any copies of it. Let's do one final 10 pull and call it a day for pulling, and then try and build some Tistinas. Let's get skipping. Hey, all right. You know what? Second transaction rollback and a red reboot. Not terrible. All right. Overall, today's pulls were really bad, but at least I got most of the cards I need, and we'll be ready to not get scammed next time. We got all our scamming out of the way. All right. Instead of showing you the deck, I'm going to show you the games, and then we'll talk about the deck after. I realize that I severely underestimated Tistinas, alright? When I was looking at the cards as I was pulling, I was like, ah, Konami scamming me with these Tistinas. But not only are they a beautiful all aqua archetype, which means they're a water deck, Tistinas actually are a very powerful going second deck. And if you know my channel, you know that I love going second. So let's show it off. Opponent is playing tier 0 Snake Eyes. Alright, look at this, 53% win rate on the summit. Are we going to give up just because opponent's going first playing Snake Eyes? No, because we want to go second. We don't even have any going second cards in the hand. Now, one other thing to point out about this deck, doesn't really use the normal summon, so Adventure Engine is perfect for it. If you know, I've been playing Adventure Engine a lot lately. I think it is amazing, and we're going to take advantage of it right now. Opponent going into that Swarm Ship, passing the turn. Now, Tistinas really want your opponent to have a bunch of face-up cards. It makes the field spell live, so let's start things off. Activate Water Enchantress, Bait and Ash Blossom. Get that right. Opponent didn't have Ash, they had the Droll and Lockbird. Very unfortunate, alright. A kind of difficult meta with Droll and Ash being all the way around the, playing around each of them. You do the opposite thing. Well, it's alright. We're going to activate our Divine Domain. Opponent has 3 face-up cards, so we're going to send to the graveyard the Hound, and we're going to summon the Crystal God Tistina to the field. Opponent activating their temple, activating the Promethean Princess, and this opponent, this is a big mistake. You do not want to touch our god. They have touched our beautiful god, and they're going to pay the price. Tistina activates in the graveyard. Oh, opponent, are you done? Thank you. Activates in the graveyard. Opponent activates to summon some monsters. This is also a mistake on their part. Tistina, flip all their monsters face down, and if any card did not get flipped down, and they still got any face-up cards, all those face-up cards get sent to the graveyard. Opponent has been neutralized. They've been Tistina'd. Let's fire off our adventure. Now, we're still under Droll, so we can't search for a negate, but we can summon the Water Enchantress. That's going to trigger to search for our bounce, and we can bounce, being very careful, all right? We know a Flamberge Dragon is set. We want to send that Flamberge Dragon to the hand, so got to pay attention to the zone it's in. It doesn't tell you here, but in the log you can check it. It tells you, you look really closely, middle zone. We're going to bounce it. Back to the hand. Summon that Sentinel. Get hidden. Now, I was thinking about going into a Super Poly play, so I attacked this monster to flip it face up. But then I realized that I did not want to Super Poly that, because it's just going to come back to the field. So, let's just pass. Opponent, you get 1 turn to survive, potentially. Do have Nibiru in case they get a little too frisky. But opponent just ending the turn. And now, we get to show them the power of Tistinas. Let's special summon the Demigod. Now that we're not under Droll, we're going to bounce their back row first. Opponent hitting us with Max C. We always take the Max C challenge when we're playing Tistinas. Fire off the Demigod. Demigod. Get summoning. I'm kidding. We're going to get our negate first. Wanderer Griffin Rider, discard the Fallen. Special summon the Griffin. Now, because we control a face-up Tistina card, we can special summon the god, alright? That's any Tistina, alright? Spell trap, monster, face-up on the field. We special summon it. We search for a Tistina spell. We're going to search for the Breath. Breath going to activate. Because we control a light Tistina, we can flip one of opponent's monsters face down and search for a Tistina. Flip them. Get flipping, get searching. It's time for the crab. Crab. The watery crab. We can additionally normal summon because we control this Breath, and we contribute an opponent's monster to summon the crab. Opponent resummons the Diabellstar Black Witch. They think that they got us, but they did not get us. Not at all. Not even close. Sentinel, activate pop itself, search for the play. Activate the play. Summon from the graveyard the Crystal God Tistina. Activate its effect. Flip all of opponent's cards face down, and any cards that are still face up get sent to the graveyard. Send them. And now, we go for the Exceed. Tistina that defies darkness. Send all their face down cards to the graveyard. All of them, back row. Set monsters, everything. Opponent trying to Nibiru us? I do not think so. We got the Adventure negate. That's right. Fully unencumbered by Adventure. We do not care about our normal summon at all. Opponent. You think you can live? They think they can live? Let's summon the Hound from the graveyard for free because we control a light Tistina. Let's do the same with the bird, and that is lethal damage and opponent. Top tier Snake Eyes conceding to Tistina. Love to see it. But let's go on to the next game. If you like the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll have more quality videos in the future. I might even play Tistinas again. The deck is actually very fun. Going second, always hilarious. Now, it is somewhat prone to brickiness. There are a couple bricks in the deck, alright, like the Hound, that are extenders we don't want to have on their own. So we do rely on the hand traps, especially Max C's, if we have them, to get us some card advantage. Opponent, just passing the turn, no draws on the Max C. We don't have any combo starters, so we're going to have to fire off our Divine Domain. Now this is a starter, but only if opponent has 3 face-up cards. So if opponent has some very janky board with only 1 or 2 face-up cards, the Divine Domain not as strong. Does let us send a card to the graveyard, but doesn't really do much else. So we're going to send some setup for later. We're going to send the level 1 Tistina, the Fallen. Alright, Fallen. We want it to be in the graveyard. We can discard it to search the field spell. It actually puts the field spell onto the field, so it does play around Ash Blossom. But it also has a second effect in the graveyard. We'll see if it comes up later. Summon that Hound. Crash into the Super Heavy Samurai. That triggers some sort of hand effect of the Super Heavy Samurai Prep Defense. We got Max C. We're going to rip that in the standby phase. We got Nibiru, so hopefully we can live this turn and then get Tistining later. Opponent. Summoning the Scarecrow. Going to give us 1 card. That's summon number 1. Opponent. Samurai Motorcycle. Activating. Getting the Samurai Link Monster, or Pendulum Monster, I should say. Summoning. And are activating Droll. So our Max C is now dead. We do have Griffin Rider, which we can summon if they clear our Hound to have a body to block with. And we still got the Nibiru. Opponent. Activating. Summon number 4. And this is summon number 5, but sadly, my Nibiru would not let me activate at this point. Not sure why. Kind of thought I would be able to activate Nibiru in response to the Excel Stardust before that monster's on the field. Because they can quick synchro, potentially into something unaffected or other such nonsense. So I didn't fire off that Nibiru. But now they got Baran. And they got more plays. Samurai in the hand, equip into the Samurai on field. Summoning that Samurai. Summoning another Samurai. But boosting the level and going into a Synchro 8. An opponent about to make the biggest mistake of their life, targeting to destroy our Tistina domain. This is a huge mistake on their part, alright? We don't want them to negate that with the Baran, so I'm going to respond with a Nibiru, bait the Baran negate, and hope opponent falls for the bait. I mean, they kind of have to fall for the bait. And now our domain is going to get popped, and that's going to trigger the domain effect and the effect of our Fallen. That's right. Domain expansion. Domain expansion. Tistina. We get the Crystal God. We get the Demigod of the Tistina. And if we control both of these, we can flip all of opponent's monsters face down and send all face-up cards they control to the graveyard, just like before. Get them out of here. Baran face down. Samurai face down. Back to our turn. We got Adventure Engine going. Let's get adventuring. We're no longer under Droll. Fire off that right. Get the adventure. Activate, send the Water Enchantress to the graveyard. Get discarding. Summon that Griffin Rider, get our negate. And now, let's clear it. Clear all these face down cards by XZ summoning the Tistina that defies darkness. Send them all. But boost the attack to 2x times. If we don't send the crab, alright, we don't send the crab, we don't get locked into one monster attacking. Let's get in for lethal damage with Tistinas taking down the meta. Let's go on to the next game. Alright, now Tistinas, like I said, and I've showed off, very powerful going second deck. I love some going second cards. Alright, going second in Yu-Gi-Oh! Very fun, especially when you're playing a powerful engine that lets you go second, because you get to interact with opponents' boards, and opponents don't know. They don't know how to read. They don't know what's going on. You can teach them a lesson about Yu-Gi-Oh! And interaction. Nibiru, also very fun. Always fun to send opponents to our field and give them a rock. Opponent playing Resonators. And we sent their entire, we sent like 5 monsters to the graveyard with that Nibiru, but opponent, they got more plays. Firing off the Supe Dustwalker. Synchroing into a Red Rising Dragon, and we're just going to have to let them see. They're cooking. They're just cooking. We'll just have to see what they end up cooking out with that Nibiru. Opponent. Again, a Red Dragon Archfiend spell, Crimson Gaia. We got a very excellent hand for going second, though. All these Testina cards are going to let us flip opponent's entire field face down and do some horrible nonsense to them, likely get lethal damage. But opponent, they don't want that to happen. They're going to go for their janky combo. What was that? 84? Did that say 84% win rate? I believe it did. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity says, when it's summoned, we are not allowed to activate cards or effects in response to the activation, and for the rest of this turn, opponent cannot activate cards or effects on the field. That means spells, monsters, not activatable. So we cannot do anything. Except, there is one thing we can do. Opponent, not quite done yet. Apparently, not allowing us to activate cards wasn't enough. They have more things to say. Opponent, summoning a Red Dragon Archfiend, and popping our Nibiru. That's very rude, opponent. I just want you to know that. But it's okay. We're going to pull a Yami Yugi. We are going to set one card, and we're going to end our turn. Play of the Tistina. Are we done for? Is our win streak finally at an end? Nah. Fire off that play. Summon that Crystal God. Teach opponent a lesson about respecting the God. Opponent, the right move is to leave our God alone. It should just pass your turn and do nothing. Let us send you to the graveyard on our turn. Opponent, don't do it. Don't you do it. You know they're thinking about it. You know they're looking at this and they're like, I'm not going to read that. Look at all those words. That's many more words than I'm going to read. I'm going to summon some monsters, and I'm going to get attacking. Opponent is Timmy personified. They're playing big red dragons with big attack points that say opponents cannot play cards. They think that they stopped us from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! But we're the ones playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Opponent. I've done my speech. You may proceed with your turn. Alright, there they go. Battle phase. They are about to disrespect our God, and our God is about to teach them a lesson. Flip them all face down. Get flipped. Anything face up gets sent to the graveyard. Send that Crimson guy and that token. Opponent. Summoning main phase 2. Flipping face up. Summoning some resonators. Not sure why they're doing this. Their field's blocked. Opponent. Again, a chain resonator. And ending the turn. Big mistake, opponent. You forgot. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. Regular Red Dragon Archfiend Prismatic says, once per turn during the end phase, destroy all monsters you control that did not declare an attack this turn. Oops. Opponent. You may have not declared an attack with a lot of your cards. They all get sent to the graveyard. Would have liked those cards to stay on the field so we could have got rid of them with Tistina, but that's okay. Let's just show them a lesson Tistina style. Fall, I'm going to activate the field spell from the deck. Domain, Expansion, Tistina. Let's search for the breath with our Demigod. Flip face down that Red Dragon Archfiend to search for the Crab. Crab gets summoning. We're going to send the bird first. Send the bird, special summon the bird. Summon the Crab. Activate play. Get our Crystal God. XC summon with the Crab and the God that defies darkness. Send the remaining face down cards to the graveyard. Activate, get lethal. Discard the Crab. Crab says, you discard it, you target a Tistina, second attack this turn. When you discard with the Tistina effect while you control the Crystal God, it boosts its attack point by 2,000 points. That is 8,000 damage. Opponent, you got Tistina'd. Love to see it. Let's go on to the next game. On to the next game. You'll notice we are playing some beautiful sea turtle-y kaijus. Kaijus, very great against opponents' boards, especially because if they decide they want to set a monster, we can turn it into a turtle, and that is a monster we can flip face down. Opponent polymerizing, making some heroes. Now heroes, pretty fun deck. They do combo for a little bit, and their boards don't usually have negates, but sometimes they have some floodgates. So people like to make fun of heroes and say they're a floodgate deck. They kind of are, but they're also pretty fun. Opponent playing Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. Trying to tell us about the fluoride in the water, but we're not going to think about that. Absolute Zero is here to pop our entire field if we touch it. And opponent with the Floodgate, Mass Hero Darklaw. You know, this is actually pretty good against Tearlaments and also Snake Eyes. So this makes sense as a pretty good, solid starting board. If they send their Wake Up to the graveyard, I think it activates. Summons a warrior from the hand or deck. Yeah, if it's destroyed, summons a warrior. So opponent can pop it somehow. They're going to destroy. They'll summon any hero, which is usually the one that negates all monster effects. Alright, well, 2 turtles is better than 1. Let's get turtling. Start by turtling opponent's floodgate. We do want to send cards to the graveyard, so that's got to go. Let's activate our Fallen. Send it to the graveyard. Activate our domain. Domain expansion. Tistinas. Summon our Crystal God. Opponent, you had 3 face-up cards. Big mistake. Crystal God says bow before the Crystal God, and if you do not bow, your head is removed. Boom. Hero gone. Let's give them another turtle. They got 2 turtles now. They don't even know what's going on. So many turtles. This is the hero that, if it's popped, it destroys our entire field, so we got to be careful about that. Opponent, favorite contact. Are they not respecting our domain? Opponent, trying to pull off a move. Hero, Shining Wingman. What does this say? Can't be destroyed by card effects. If this card is special summon, destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number of different attributes among monsters on the field. Opponent, you're not about to touch our god, are you? While our divine domain is live? Opponent, trying to use their hero domain, special hero move. Destroy cards that we control. Opponent, I don't know if that's going to work out for you. Pop, pop, pop. Big mistake. Triggered. Triggered. Divine Domain. Fallen Tistina. All triggered right now. Let's get summoning. Summon back our Crystal God from the graveyard. Summon our bird from the deck. Flip them face down. Activate the right. Summon the adventure token. Pop. Get the demigod. Demigod gets summoning. Get the play. Activate. Get the Draco back. Activate. Get the negate. Equip the adventure token with the negate. Bounce a monster to the extra deck. Summon our negate an opponent. Before we summon our XC monster, send all cards to the graveyard. Negate the effect to pop our board. Attack for lethal damage. Opponent gonna give up heroes, not willing to take the wrath of the gods. We did set up our domain, so you know what could they even do? Let's go on to the next game. I gotta say, flipping opponent's entire board face down is probably one of the most satisfying Yu-Gi-Oh effects. Maybe second only to Meteor. Meteor is so much fun, I gotta say. This is like so much more fun than Max C. It's just like, you know, Max C it draws some cards. It's annoying. Nibiru, turn your board into a rock. Opponent playing some Link decks. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a Tistina card we can put on the field. So we have to hope we draw into something good. We do have the Adventure Engine at least. Opponent, getting the token. Linking the token into a spider. Is that going to be enough? We'll have to see. Hopefully draw into something good here. Draw into more bricks. Alright. This is the one weakness of the deck. It can brick really hard. Alright. We got 3 level 10s in the hand. 4 level 10s in the hand. Well, let's adventure. Opponent negating our adventure. That is pretty rough. So Nibiru we're gonna have to carry. Let's Nibiru the spider, and hope that that was enough. Opponent, you get Link Shenanigans, and Dotscaper into All Mirage means they can go into any Link 2, and if you've played against Link decks, you know that from this position they can Splash Mage and go into Transcode Talker, resummon the Splash Mage and get a double attacking, but opponent's not doing it, I guess. They're going to do some extra things. Alright, well they can go into a double attacking Access Code Talker and get lethal, popping the Nibiru. But opponent, they're going to do some more additional things first. Get a Decode Talker Heat Soul. Resummon that Link Decoder and go into the G Golem Crystal Heart. That's going to resummon the spider. That's going to go into the Transcode Talker, and that is going to resummon the Splash Mage, and that is going to go into the Access Code. So there we go. Opponent found it. They found the line. Pop Nibiru, attack twice with Access Code, and that is lethal damage. We bricked. Alright, we didn't believe in the heart of the cards enough. We couldn't set up our domain, and we lost. But it's okay. Let's go on to the next one. Alright, on to the next game. Now, a lot of go in second decks, you make your opponent go first. If you're playing Mankankos or Numerons, they might just think, hey, you know what, I'm just going to do nothing, because it's very difficult for Mankankos or Numerons to get lethal on an empty board. But we're not playing those decks. We're playing Tistina. Tistina Adventure. Opponent making us take the Maxi Challenge. When you're playing Tistina, you always take the Maxi Challenge. Let's show it off. We're going to start by setting up our Adventure Negate. Adventure Engine. Give opponent 2 cards. Let's Divine Domain. Send to the graveyard the bird. Fire off our Demigod. Get our play. Trigger the effect of the Fateful. We just don't want to waste our cards in hand. We're going to hit the Draco back first. Search for the Griffin Rider. Discard the Draco back. Trigger. Equip. Summon. Negate is live. And let's not play into Nibiru. Let's not play into any hand trap negates. Let's just go for 6,000 damage. We got ways to take care of it. Now, we've done the damage with the Griffin Rider. If we use our negate, it goes away. Not the end of the world. We already got its damage in. How do we deal that last 2,000? Well, I think you know where this is going. Activate the bird. Bird send itself to search for Tistina card. Get that Crystal God. Activate the play. Summon the Crystal God. Summon the Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. Opponent. Time to take lethal damage. With negate backup. Love to see it. On to the next game. Alright, one more game with the Tistinas, the bonus game. We got our adventure. We got our Demigod. We got our field spell. Wait, hold up. We don't have the field spell. Are we done for? I think we'll be fine. Opponent playing Dark Magicians. We get to prove if Tistinas are Dark Magicians here for real this time. Opponent also playing Branded. Branded quite powerful. Branded Magicians are here opponent. Living the anime life. Summoning the Lubellian, gonna go into the Mirror Jade. So they got Banish. They got Banish with the Mirror Jade. Opponent, any other interaction? Blazing Cartesia going to summon the Dark Magicians. If we activate a spell, they are going to activate, draw a card, and then set a spell trap. Well, luckily, we're going to top deck amazingly. We're going to top deck a Super Poly. Now, Super Poly in the Mirror Jade means it's going to trigger its effect, pop our monsters in the end phase. We know opponent doesn't have any hand traps, so we could just ignore that, but let's have some fun. Let's Super Poly the Dark Magicians and the Magician Girl into a Dracosepelia. Opponent, trying to Mirror Jade, we're going to negate. Dracosepelia negate. Get Super Polyed. Or Dark Magicians. It's time to show you what a real deck looks like. Let's Breath. Now we have a face of Tistina. We can summon the Demigod, search for the field spell. Divine Domain. Domain expansion. Send Crystal God to the graveyard. Flip a monster face down, search for the crab. Get Adventuring. That's right. Tistinas can do the full combo and still adventure. Tribute with the crab. Adventure trigger. Get the Draco back. Search for the Griffin Rider, discard the adventure. Equip it to the token. Get our negate online. Bounce the Mirror Jade back to the hand. Opponent gets to summon and negate the effect of our crab. Opponent, how could you do that? You stopped us from summoning our XC. But it's okay, we still have lethal damage. Let's get in. Lethal damage with Tistinas. Love to see it. Tistinas are amazing. I had so much fun playing this deck. Let's go on to the deck list. Alright, here's the deck. Let me know if you love Tistinas, what I should play, what I should mix them with, because deck's very fun. Going second, love it. Alright, we got Triple Fallen. This is a starter. Searches your field spell. Also has the second effect, which you saw. Came in clutch quite a few times. Opponent's not going to read your Tistinas. We got Triple Max C. I hate Max C. I would play it at 2 or 1 and just up the Nibiru count. But sometimes I want to draw cards. So we got it in here. We are going second all the time. We got the DP package, Denier. Adventure package, we got 2 adventures. For Tistinas, we got triple of the Tistina Sentinel, 1 Hound. We got the Tainted. We got Destiny Hero Dasher for the DP package. We got Griffin Rider for the adventures. 2 Gameciels. I was not sure about the Kaiju count, alright? If you don't like DP Engine, you can throw more Kaijus in, because the Kaijus are pretty solid going second. We got triple Demigod. This is your best starter, and you do need additional cards to get it going, but you always want to have this access to it, so having it at 3, pretty key. Crystal got Tistinia, we have at 1. We got the Nibiru. Bullish Barrel to send your Adventure Engine. Also can send your Sentinel or your Hound, but let's be real, you're sending Adventure most of the time. 2 Fusion Destinies, 2 Rights. We got Draco back. We got the Divine Domain at 3. You're going to need this at 3. Alright, you can search it, but you want to have it. You always want to have this card. We got the Fateful Triple Breath. Again, a face-up card that lets you summon your Demigod. Also searches. It's pretty amazing. You want to have 3 of this. 2 Super Polys. 3 Super Polys, also fine if you want to mix up your going second cards. We got 2 plays. In the extra, I have like just a dozen Super Poly targets. Mix it up yourself. DPE we got, of course. The Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max is here. This actually did come in clutch and win me some games. I'll see if I can find him and play him in the replays because it's amazing. All right, we got the Tistina. Only 1. You could play 2, but I only ever summoned 1. Never really felt the need for a second. Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon. Never made this, but the possibility is here. We got Divine Arsenal Zeus. We got the IP Masquerena. We got Predaplan Verte Anaconda, Unchained Abomination, Access Kotalker, and the Honorable Goddess. I literally only ever used Verte. You mix it up, the rest however you like. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you liked the video, and I'll see you next time. Have a good night.